Welcome. We're back. Been a few days. I think that's probably the longest break I've taken from streaming since I started streaming. How's everybody doing? You know the drill. We're going to go over Bitcoin while people are hopping into the stream. Then we're going to talk about the overall market. A lot has gone by in the past few days in the market. After that, we're going to be talking about Clover, AMC, SoFi, FSR. Hopefully my mic is okay. I don't know, there might be a little bit of an echo. But yeah, we're just gonna get right into everything. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Excited to be streaming again. I'll be live tonight, I'll be live tomorrow night, and then I'll be live again on Monday night. And the new schedule is gonna be Monday to Thursday every single week, around 9 p.m. EST, a little bit earlier tonight. But let's get into it. First things first is Bitcoin. Looking at Bitcoin, it had a fake out under 30K not too long ago. Came all the way down to about $29,000, and then it bounced. And I really think Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptos are looking pretty bullish now. This type of a bounce on Bitcoin is really, what looks like confirmation to me. If we're talking about Wyckoff terms, it's kind of like you're springing back over a nice line. And not only that, you also have a bullish engulfing candle on the daily. You engulfs not one, but you engulf like 5 daily candles in one candle. So that's pretty bullish in my opinion. I mean, it was a 8% move or an 8% day for Bitcoin. And then also, like I was showing it on the daily, it's in kind of like a falling wedge over here, and the daily MACD went back over to green. So a lot of variables on Bitcoin and a bunch of other cryptos. I even put out a few crypto trades today. One of them was Dogecoin. This trade's up a couple percent since I alerted it. Triple classic bullish divergence, double bottom over the 200-day moving average, break of a supply line. Pretty good variables. We'll see what happens there. I put out another crypto trade, Atom, inverse head and shoulders, hidden bullish divergence on the daily, bullish cipher, 4-hour classic bullish divergence. I mean, there's a lot of variables, looking at this chart as well. And then finally, Chainlink, another semi-bullish cipher, a massive one on the daily with triple classic bullish divergence almost confirmed. So looking at a lot of crypto charts right now, I know crypto's kind of been dead ever since probably like February, March, or at least Bitcoin has. But right now things are looking pretty interesting. I think crypto is currently looking the best that has the whole entire year. Just looking through a bunch of different coins today and stuff like that. So we'll see. Maybe crypto decides to dump. Again, nothing is certain in trading, but if we were just talking about the technicals I look for on charts, a lot of them are showing up on many cryptos over the past 48 hours ever since Bitcoin bounced off the bottom of the range. So yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good. We're going to talk about the overall market now. There's a lot to talk about on the overall market. After we finish this, we're going to talk about Clover, AMC, SoFi, FSR. Then we're going to do take a request in probably 15-20 minutes. But my last stream, which I think was last Thursday, it was titled something along the lines of, I think there's going to be a bounce, or why there could be a bounce in the market soon, or rotation. And we got a very interesting week so far. On Monday, we had a horrible day. I think it was the worst day for the Dow Jones in the entire year. But yeah, we had a very rough pullback for the first half of the month. I'm sure many people know what I'm talking about here. And basically my thesis on last Thursday night stream was looking at the IWM small cap index and also looking at the ARK growth ETF. I thought there was a pretty decent amount of variables for a potential bounce in the short term. And the ARK actually, I believe, held up very well on Monday. I think the ARK was actually green on Monday. Yeah, it was, while the market was just getting destroyed. So now we have the ARK going up for 3 days in a row. That's kind of like a 3 white soldiers candle pattern, back over the 200-day moving average. If you're in growth stocks, this is a very good sign. And then looking at the Russell, this one did surprise me a little bit. It really gapped down hard on Monday, but it recovered between yesterday and today. It's, from Monday's open to the close today, the Russell 2000 is up 5%, and it's back over this demand line. So just a little bit of a fake out there, it looks like. But I'm sure you might have been watching CNBC on Monday. They were talking about the Delta variant, stuff like that. They're always going to try and make a reason for the market to be down. Yes, the Delta variant definitely is a part of why we've been seeing a rough market the past couple of weeks. But at the end of the day, it's like 2 days later, you're almost back to all-time highs on the S&P and the NASDAQ. I just look at the levels on the charts. And another really interesting thing for the NASDAQ, on Monday morning, it came down to this 14,180 level. How long have I been talking about this level? For weeks now. It was the previous resistance. It was rejected like 5 times this year. It broke over it at the end of June. We had a massive rally for a lot of tech stocks going into the first half of July. Then you had the pullback in the last week and you bounced right off that area. That's technical analysis for you. And now we're almost back up to all-time highs on the NASDAQ. So it's been a crazy market so far this week. I'm sure a lot of people have been having fun between yesterday and today, especially if you're a bull. Probably not if you're a bear. But yeah, the market right now is just on fire. Futures are up a little bit, relatively flat. And yeah, that's really how I'm looking at the market. I still think, above 14,180 on the NASDAQ is bullish. You did have bearish divergence, but now you're losing negative momentum. If we go to the Russell 2000, it reclaimed the 219 support, which is very, very important from over here. And it was even resistance over here for a day. So, definitely a lot of bullish pressure again in the market finally, which is amazing. And obviously that's been very good for a lot of trades that I put out. So yeah, it's been fun. We're probably gonna talk about Clover, AMC, SoFi, and FSR next, but let me just take a look at the chat for a second. Probably gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream. What else we got? MMAT, that was a failed trade. Timing was horrible. The market just really took a dive. So did MMAT, and it just never really recovered it never recovered yesterday. It was down yesterday, and then today it went insane and bounced back up quite a bit. Yeah, but it was wild for sure. What's up, everybody in the chat? So yeah, let's talk about Clover first. Let's talk about Clover, see what's up with that. We put out a trade idea on Clover, I think it was a week before last week, something like that. Didn't work out, but I did, say on Twitter and in Discord, I was still bullish on Clover. It really wasn't like the bullish technicals got invalidated. It was just the price action was not good. It just kept falling. The market was red. The shorts were there. There was some bad news that came out. There was the lockup period expiration. There were just so many fundamental things just dragging down the price. But I've been saying every single day for a while, since higher prices, that you do have daily hidden bullish divergence developing. And now the hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour is confirmed. I even noticed that it went down to the PCZ of a bullish crab, bounced right at the 3618, I believe, on Monday. So Clover has been having a great week so far. On the week, it's currently up 8%. So good week for Clover so far. It was up like another 5% or something after hours. I think it was up 8% after hours at one point, but yeah, Clover's being really, really interesting. I really think if Clover can hold above 9, that's the really important level. Above 9 is really good for Clover. That was the resistance back from March. It was even resistance in April. When you broke it in April, you went up to almost 12. You came back under it, then you broke it again in June and you went to 28. So above 9 is when the bullish pressure on Clover really starts building up. And after hours, it did go back over 9. So we're going to see what happens in the coming days. But again, I've been saying this for probably the whole entire month. The bullish technicals are still there. So we'll see what all this turns into on Clover. Hopefully you can make another nice run again. Now let's talk about AMC next. Huge bounce off the lows from Monday. From the low on Monday to the high today, believe it or not, AMC went up like 50% from the low to the high in like 3 days. On the week, AMC is currently up 17% but yeah, crazy rejection off of this gap fill area that we talked about last week on stream. Hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily for AMC. Go over to the 4-hour, you have confirmed hidden bullish divergence. It even broke out of a descending broadening wedge. So, the technicals on AMC are bullish right now, but we got to keep in mind it just went from 31 to 46. So you can't be surprised if it wants to pull back a little bit, make another higher low, and then run again. But on the bigger picture for AMC, you just want to continue holding above 36. That's the previous double top all-time high from 2015, 2016. That's the really important level for AMC. Moving on, SoFi. Huge day today for SoFi. If you're a premium member, in the morning I was talking about SoFi on like very low time frames. Basically in the morning, it popped right up at the open. and then it was back testing the pre-market high for like 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it was. And then, you know, it was a really, really bullish low time frame chart, and it had a huge pop. Largest volume that it's seen really this whole entire month. So a lot of volume today. Major, I would probably kind of call this a bullish engulfing. You didn't really open at the same price as yesterday, but you could see that on one candle, you engulfed like 8 days worth of price action in one candle. That's a good sign. It's pretty similar to Bitcoin. And you have the hidden bullish divergence on the daily and on the 4-hour. It did go a little bit deeper than the PCZ of this bullish shark, but still around the 886. Even got down to historical support. SoFi from a technical standpoint is very, very interesting. You could even just look at it like this. You know, it broke this green supply line. So a lot of, you know, stocks are showing, especially mid caps, are showing pretty decent reversal signals, very similar to how they were showing back around May 11th to the 13th, if anybody remembers, when the NASDAQ dropped like 10% in like 2 weeks. It was right over here. And then over in this area, I was super bullish on the market, and we got a major bounce for most stocks going up until the end of June. So that's SoFi. And then finally Fisker. I put out a trade idea for Fisker, I believe yesterday probably. Basically the idea behind it was breaking out of its downsloping channel. It back tested the 1455 support from January, which we had an amazing trade off of that level in January. Like I think it was like a 40% profit or something. And then also on the daily, hidden bullish divergence developing and back above the 200-day moving average. Fisker is looking pretty good. They had some news after hours about their, I forget exactly what they're coining it, but they're calling it like their experience centers or whatever. I guess it's like their showrooms, or where you could look at, you know, the Fisker Ocean or whatever cars they have after. Without, you know, owning one, and just, you know, their experience. What's the word they use for it? Let me try and see if I can find it. But yeah, they had some news after hours. I think it went up a couple percent after hours as well. So they're calling it the Global Brand Experience Center. So they released that news after hours, and then Fisker after hours went up to about $16.60. So the trade is currently up about 7% since the alert yesterday. I think any day that it closes above the 200-day moving average is bullish on Fisker. We'll see what happens there. Put out a couple other trades this week while I wasn't streaming. Wish was one of them. Let's go to Wish first. The idea behind this Wish trade, we had a failed one before. It was only like a 4% loss, but you got some hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily. It broke a supply line and it reclaimed this $9.70 level. It was a low back from June 11th. Really, it was a swing low, and then it was again a support on July 14th before it ended up breaking it on the 16th. It's reclaimed that level, which is looking pretty interesting to me. And then I put out another one today, which is BlackBerry, which this chart, again, just because the chart looks insanely good doesn't mean for sure it's gonna go up. But if you're talking about bullish technicals, BlackBerry, again, fundamentally, I don't know, you can make your own argument about that, but from a technical standpoint, BlackBerry, I was looking at this today and I was pretty amazed. I mean, you're breaking out of a downsloping channel, you got hidden bullish divergence on the daily. On the 4-hour, you also have hidden bullish divergence, that's confirmed. And there's a bullish bat, it bounced around the PCZ around the 886. And on top of that, it bounced around this historical level, which is around $9.60. It was a resistance in April, a support in February and January, a resistance in December. BlackBerry is probably the best technical looking chart that I can think of as of today. So keep an eye on BlackBerry. It already did break out. Of course, it could back test. Of course, it could fail. Some bad news can come out. Again, just because the chart looks amazing, it doesn't mean there's a certainty that the price is going to go up. But in terms of a technical argument, wow. I mean, it even got close to bouncing off the 200-day moving average. You got a pattern, bullish candles, harmonics, divergence, critical support areas. BlackBerry is a really, really interesting chart. And yeah, that's probably the quickest recap I can do for the last 3 days. Definitely did not do it justice. We've had a wild week so far. I've been pretty active in the Discord and on Twitter as much as I can be. So hopefully you've been crushing it this week, apart from I know Monday was probably rough for a lot of people, but yeah, there's always needles in the haystack, and as long as you can find those opportunities, like I always say, pain brings opportunity, especially in this market. And yeah, it's pretty much the recap. We got Shelby in Illinois. How you doing? Yeah, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. And what a wild week so far, like really. It's been a good one. And we're gonna see if we can find even more charts tonight that look pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much the recap. So hopefully, I don't even know how long I've been live for, probably like what, 20 minutes? Hopefully in the last 15 minutes, you got some sort of an insight as to what I'm seeing on the market. I haven't even taken a look at the VIX or anything. This got shot back down under 20, which is good. Dow Jones, like it's just kind of weird, you know, the market gapped down like crazy on Monday. And not only did we fill the gap from Monday, but we've gone higher on pretty much all the major indices. So it's been a very, very interesting week. I'm not sure if there's any, I think there is some sort of economic number that comes out tomorrow. I just went dark for a second there. But yeah, that's pretty much the market. We're probably just gonna look at tickers for the rest of the stream. It's probably not gonna be a long stream. Probably do like half an hour of ticker requests, see what else we could find. So if you want to request a ticker, go for it in the chat right now. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Don't request something that was up over 30% today. And don't request something that I IPO'd within the last week. I need data and consistency to chart how I chart. So yeah, let's get to it. Drop some tickers in the chat and we'll just chart for the rest of the stream. So let's take a look. Cheddar Free's been pretty good myself. How about you? Oh, we already looked at AMC earlier. It'll be in the timestamps. I don't even know if we're gonna have timestamps tonight, but yeah, we looked at AMC earlier. It just went from 31 to 46. That's a huge move in 3 days. So if it wants to pull back a little bit further, I think that's possible, but you do have hidden bullish divergence on AMC. It did break out of a descending broadening wedge. You know, it's pretty interesting from a technical standpoint. It's just there were definitely better areas to take a bet on AMC literally this week. You know, getting in here, I'm not saying it can't go higher. I'm just saying from a technical standpoint, the entry area should have been 36 if you were watching the chart earlier this week. You know, that's a major level. You were breaking out of a channel. You had divergence there. You know, it was previous all-time highs. That was like the big technical area. We got job numbers tomorrow. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, DOC, that's another trade. I think it was up like 2% today or something, or it was either up 2% today or yes. Yeah, it was up 2% yesterday. It was flat today. So we got CLF. MPLN. All right. So first off, UAMY. This one's a little bit choppy. 103 is the major resistance. It was a support from 2015, resistance in 2018, resistance this year. Maybe kind of like an ascending triangle formation over here. Usually you want to see those after a run up in price. That's a continuation pattern, not after a run down in price, but that's where it decided to start making higher lows. So as long as you stay above this demand line, it looks fine. You just eventually want to break above 103. You don't want to reject it. That would be your breakout point. And maybe a little bit of hidden bullish divergence on the daily MACD. Kind of on the RSI as well. Not perfect, but kind of there. So yeah, it's UAMY. The trade desk, I don't like how it broke back under this 75 level. That's the really, really important level on trade desk, or the trade desk. Don't see much divergence. It is still above the 200-day moving average. It's in a very, very tight range between the 200-day moving average and this resistance. If it gets back above 76, that's good, but you don't want to be under 76, right? It was support, support, resistance, resistance, support, and now it's resistance again. That's a major area on this chart. You want to break back above it. GENI, classic bullish divergence is possible on the daily for this one. Let me just clear everything up on this. Let's see. maybe you could kind of look at it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost a falling wedge. You probably want one more touch for more confirmation, but I think at this point you just want to hold above 1378 on GENI. That was your double bottom low from March, so that's a more important level. If you ever break this resistance, then probably 1950 would be your next resistance after that, from pretty much the end of June. Tesla looks very interesting to me. I didn't alert this or anything, but I lined, a potential trade up on Tesla. Kind of reminds me of Wyckoff accumulation. The A and B phase are a little bit off, but the C and D phase are kind of textbooks so far. There's hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. It's making higher lows on the 4-hour. And even if you zoom in, it's kind of like double bottoming back over the 200-day moving average. First bottom, second bottom. I think Tesla looks bullish here. As long as it can hold above the 200-day moving average, I'm a fan of it. After 712, your next resistance is 780, and then after that, your previous all-time highs from February. So any close above the 200-day moving average for Tesla, it's bullish to me. CLF is next. This is a very interesting area for CLF. So it was in an upsloping channel. It broke out of that channel to the downside on the 16th of July. Came down to this 1884 support, which used to be a resistance in January. Bounced off of that, and now it's retesting. So this is a make or break area. If it can reclaim into this channel, then it's bullish again. If it rejects this channel, then you got 1884 as your support. So very, very big make or break area for CLF. Like literally within the next 2 days, you're probably gonna be able to tell which way it wants to go. WGO is next. Looks like it was I've already charted this, but falling wedge, double bottom. This chart looks really interesting to me. I think if it can just clear this $71 area, there's room to fill a gap at 81. That's really the last point of supply I see for the short term, 71. So if it can just get above that, that'd be great. But you can see it tested it today and then it pulled back majorly off that level. So at this point, you probably just want to hold over the 200-day moving average at 67. Otherwise, you could be headed back down to 63. But you do have triple classic bullish divergence, kind of made the same low here, slightly lower low on that final candle on the bottom though. XL is next. This could turn into a bullish bat. It's not deep enough though. Have to drop down to about 590. Move over to the 4-hour. There is classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour actually. So it's just a question of how much this bullish divergence will play out. If this underperforms, I could see it's headed back down to around like 590. It was even a support from April, and that would be the 886 retrace. If the divergence does play out well, then probably $9 would be your next resistance. I don't see much resistance up until 9. Maybe a little bit over here at 760. It was your high from April and your low in the middle of June. There's even a gap for that 760. So 760 actually is a pretty important level for XL. Next we got MPLN. On this one, ascending broadening wedge, hidden bullish divergence back over the 200-day moving average. This one looks fine to me right over here. There is a gap fill at around $8.17. After that, probably 872 would be a resistance from this high and this little resistance slash support. So you just want to continue holding above the 200-day moving average and hope that this bullish divergence plays out on MPLN. Yeah, stream start earlier today. Every time I start the stream earlier, there's usually less viewers because I guess people are used to hopping in at 9, but it's all good for one day. I'll probably go live tomorrow night at 9. NVIDIA. Alright. So, skills first up. This could be a harmonic. Pretty close to a bullish bat. Already reacting a little bit at the PCC. Classic bullish divergence. Yeah, skills looks really interesting here. I think anything above 1274 on skills is good. You even have support at 1423, which it did bottom off of on Monday. That was your previous resistance from pretty much the end of last year. You triple topped at it before breaking it. Then you bounced off of that pretty much on Monday. On skills, there's room back up to 21 bucks. You have the 200-day moving average at 20 as well, but yeah, skills definitely could be tradable here. You would probably get a 3 reward to risk. You get a 2 reward to risk if you go for the 2165. So I don't know, maybe you just raise up your stop to right under that 14 level. Then you would get a really good reward to risk. Even if you went for the 200-day moving average, it'd be over a 3 reward to risk. So yeah, skills looks pretty good as long as it can hold above 14. NNDM, hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily. On the 4-hour, it broke a supply line like right over here. Let me just delete all this. It was a failed inverse head and shoulders actually, but broke a supply line back over the 660 support. Another chart that looks pretty bullish to me. And how good is that to hear? Because you remember, for like pretty much the whole entire first half of this month, on like 90% of ticker requests, I'd just be saying, I'm not too sure. I don't really see much to talk about. It's pretty hard to find a lot of bullish charts. That's like all I would be saying for the first half of the month. And then we got a pretty big pullback. And now after that pullback, more than half of the charts I'm looking at have bullish variables on them. So, you know, that also just kind of shows the current potential market sentiment for the next couple of weeks at least. But again, remember, we have earnings pretty much starting this week already. A huge earnings week in the next 2 weeks as well. So like really the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to be the bulk of earnings season, I believe. So we're going to see how all that goes as well. But NNDM, anything above $6.60 looks bullish to me on this one. Maybe it could kind of be a harmonic as well. I mean, yeah, this is kind of like a bullish cipher. So yeah, NNDM as well. So I'm gonna actually put NNDM and skills onto my watch list. Were there any other ones that looked pretty interesting? I think that's that. All right, so skills and NNDM, both of them looking pretty neat. All right. Apple is next. Apple was a premium trade. It hit all 3 targets. Can we talk about this for a second? Oh my, I just realized this. Look at that. All right. That's actually amazing. All right, just do it like this. All right, take a look at this. All right, this is Apple. The date was May 13th. The price was $125. Okay, I lined up this trade for premium members on Apple. Entry was $125. Okay, stop loss $121. These were the 3 targets. Okay, on May 13th, more than 2 months ago, I had a 3rd target on Apple for $149. Okay, 2 months ahead of time, I was targeting $149 from an entry of $125. Okay, 2 months later, in the future, Apple runs right up to that $149 level, and that's exactly where it finds a local top. I'm not saying Apple's never going to go higher than that, but it went straight up to that level. And then that's the first area it really saw a real pullback. Up until that level, it really never saw any. So again, for all the people who say technicals are BS, I mean, go try and do that with your whatever you use that aren't technicals to try and manage your risk. Again, there could have been bad news, it could have went down, but you know, technicals help you manage your risk and find good areas to take profits or stop out. You know, not all the time, but you know, this is a pretty good example. Look at that. But yeah, Apple's been crushing it. Earnings, according to TradingView, are on the 27th, so that should be, I believe, like next week. So obviously, that's probably the most important thing for Apple in the near future. That could obviously shift things either way. From a technical standpoint, 145 is your support. It was your previous all-time high from January. After that, 137.5 would be your next support. That's it for Apple, but what a trade. What a trade. Pretty much the swing low to the swing high. perfectly caught for a 19% gain on a ticker that moves pretty slowly, right? For Apple to move 19% in about a month is really big. If you just look at it historically, that really doesn't happen too often. NVIDIA, on the other hand, I think I actually shared NVIDIA as like a potential short idea with premium members not too long ago. Like literally like right up here. It went a little bit higher than I thought it would, but you know, now looking at NVIDIA, things have changed. I think it had the stock split, like what, today, or I think it was yesterday maybe. TradingView was saying 20, so yesterday they had the split, and now on NVIDIA, hidden bullish divergence is possible on the daily, which is very, very interesting. Even on the, can't even talk, even on the 4-hour it is, so now it's starting to look pretty interesting again. I mean, I don't really see much of a level here. I guess 178 would be your closest support, and then 208 would be a resistance. That's really all you can do in this range. But yeah, just watch that 4-hour and daily MACD to see if that hidden bullish divergence can continue developing. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. Make sure to join the Discord, all those things. Looks like I got a couple more people joining on the stream now. It's like pretty much my normal stream time now. So if anybody just joined the stream, hit that like button. After that, we got BMBL, IQ, MREO, Palantir, FUBO, IDEX, Boeing. Yeah, I was looking at HYLN earlier today. I shared it in the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, links in the description. That's where you can find me all day, just talking about stocks and whatnot. But HYLN, I don't like HYLN fundamentally. I don't really see this company doing so well in 10 years fundamentally. I could be wrong. I don't know too much about HYLN either, but just from what I do know, not a big fan of the electric vehicle dumpster truck startup, literally. And I'm not saying dumpster truck to try and crap on the company. Like, that's pretty much what they're doing, I believe, like garbage trucks. But the chart looks pretty interesting. It's like a mix of a bullish bad and a bullish Gartley on the 4-hour. There's hidden bullish, there's classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and hidden bullish divergence on the daily. So from a technical standpoint, it does look really interesting. So we'll see if this turns into something. I mean, this thing's been crushed. It used to be a SPAC called SHLL. It was the hot thing last September, and now it's not been so hot since last September. What else we got? Yeah, Shelby says love the Discord. Discord's an amazing place. That's where you can find literally everything outside of the stream. So if you're not in it, still, I have no clue what you're doing. So Bumble is next. There's not much I can do on this one. There's not a lot of data on it. I guess it broke a supply line, ran up a little bit. I guess this 46 level is interesting. It was kind of like a low high 2-day candle formation. It was support for like the first week of June, and it was your 2-day support on Monday and Tuesday of this week. It filled the gap from Monday's gap down. I would need a lot more data on Bumble to get a better technical thesis on it. So for right now, I'm not too sure. IQ, just delete all this. It's pretty much at its final level. You know, I would like this to get back above $14 for me to be more bullish on it. Not bore, but yeah, this 14 level was support in 2018, 2020, and this year it broke it, and now it's trying to create a new support at 12. It's testing it like right now. If it breaks under 12, I mean, there's no supports left. I mean, you could use Fibonacci, but that's really all I would see. Maybe this thing turns into a shark. It's within the range, so we'll see. I mean, classic bullish divergence is possible too, so I wouldn't say it's bearish. All I would say is you definitely want to hold above 12, all right? That's all you got to do. MREO. I'd say really like the 260 area is your most important level you got to hold, which you are holding currently. Could be argued you have a triple classic bullish divergence on the daily. Other than that though, another failed inverse head and shoulders. You probably just want to break. What you want to do on this one is break over this trend line / supply line before falling under $2.60. If you can do that, I could see it retesting 310, which is a 200-day moving average, and hopefully your classic bullish divergence can help you alongside that. But look at this, you got a bullish pin bar, doji, bullish pin bar, bullish engulfing candle, bullish pin bar. So the candles for the last 5 days are pretty interesting on the daily, right off of this support. Definitely every single time it's touching it so far in the last week, it's bounced right off of it. So hopefully you can continue to do that. Palantir is next. Palantir is another chart that I was scanning for earlier this week. It looks very interesting to me. Potential inverse head and shoulders. Bounced off the same low from the end of March and really the end of April. Broke a supply line, hidden bullish divergence on the daily. If it can just get above this 200-day moving average, there's a gap fill at 24.59. There's a gap fill at 26.33. So I think anything above 21 on Palantir is pretty bullish. Again, you know, these are good things. 2 weeks ago, anybody who was watching the stream, pretty much for every single chart, I would say, I don't know, things just don't really look that clear to me. I would say for like I think it was like the first week of the month, every night I would say, this is the most confused I've been in the market, like since I've started trading. Everything just looks so weird. Then we got the data that we needed, and now we're seeing a lot of bullish technicals. You know, the only thing right now for the market is like, we've gone up a lot in 2 days. Typically you don't go up that much that quickly without getting a little bit of a pullback before at least running higher again. But if you just look at the NASDAQ, I mean, off of the lows from Monday, we've gone up 3% in 3 days. That's a lot. That's a lot for 3 days on the NASDAQ. So I do still think we can get another mini pullback at some point, just because going up 3%, you might pull back maybe 1% before going higher, something like that. I just don't think we're just going to go up 1% every single day for the next week. I just don't think that's likely. I think we're going to have some sort of turbulence, even if we retest all-time highs. So it's like a lot of stocks look bullish, but you got to remember how things were literally 3 days ago. You can't just forget what happened. You know, this still could be argued as a dead cat bounce. I don't think it's gone up to the point where you can say that it's not a dead cat bounce. I still think there is a potential for this all to be a dead cat bounce. But for right now, you don't have to sit there and worry about it. You just got to manage your risk and just watch the levels and take it day by day, right? But you still have to not get cocky. You just can't get too ahead of yourself. It's been a good 2 days for the market, but anything's possible. So that's why I'm bullish, but I'm still cautiously optimistic. That's the best way to put it. Next one is FUBO. It's retesting a huge level. The inverse head and shoulders still looks very, very possible. It's actually starting to round out at this potential right shoulder. It's at the make or break area for FUBO. It's retesting this 27 level. It was support from June, support from March. It's currently your resistance. You're pretty much a little bit above it. And that's also, if you see this green line, it's your 200-day moving average. So if it can get back above this, I think 31 could be retested, and then eventually 35. If it cannot break back above it, 22 is your support. So you definitely want to break back above it. If we go over to the 4-hour, you are currently breaking a supply line as well. So you're right on the cusp of a pretty decent breakout for FUBO. You just need to go like probably 1% higher and hold it. So we'll see in the coming days. If it can just stay above 27, that would be amazing. That would be great for FUBO. IDEX, kind of like a scuffed XABCD, but you do have hidden bullish divergence on the daily. Another one at a make or break area. It's right at the 200-day moving average. Above that is bullish in my opinion. Below it, I wouldn't say it's bearish below it, but you'd have a lot more room to your next support, right? Because your next major support is 225, and that's 13% lower than like the current price. So you'd rather just get above that and be able to use that as support rather than worrying about maybe going back down to 225 to double bottom or whatever it is. But another stock where you can see you broke a supply line. This is a common theme on a lot of small caps and mid caps. They had this just horrible drought from pretty much the end of June up until Monday of this week. And then between yesterday and today, a lot of small caps and mid caps are breaking their downsloping trend lines, okay? I can name 30 charts that had the same exact type of breakout between yesterday and today. That's a very, very interesting thing, because if we go back to that ARK ETF, you can see the same exact thing on the ARK, right? It's breaking its downtrend from the last 2 weeks. And again, you've already done a lot of work. It's already made a common retrace. It's already come back up to the 50% retrace, which could be a way to target off the bottom. I mean, who would have ever been able to call the bottom on this growth fall? Like, that would have been impossible. Like, there's no way somebody could have said at 115 on the ARK that could have been a potential reversal area. Nobody could have guessed. Were you not watching last Thursday's stream? Do you not follow me on Twitter? Are you not in the Discord? What level did I talk about on the ARK ETF as a potential reversal area? 115. I said it for like pretty much 3 days in a row, or 2 days in a row last week, last Wednesday and Thursday, even on Friday. That's what I was saying. 115 on ARK. That's where we could see mid caps and growth stocks reverse. Where did they reverse? Right there. That wasn't hard at all. It's just simple technicals, right? It's just a very clear support area after a downsloping rally. There you go. So it's really not that hard. It's just, it takes patience and timing, and most importantly, risk management. That's really all it is. So it's not a surprise to me that within literally a 3-day period, so many of these stocks are going from horrible 2-week downtrends over into pretty bullish technicals. It's not a surprise, because we were talking about this on my last stream last Thursday. So hopefully that helped you out in some sort of way. But yeah, let's keep it going. Boeing is next. Back over the 200-day moving average. Potential for classic bullish divergence on the daily. Got oversold on the daily RSI. Apart from that, not too sure. Let's see if there's anything else here. I think 241 is your biggest resistance. It was resistance in 2017. It was your candle high during the COVID crash on like March, oh no, yeah, during the COVID crash on March 9th, I think, of last year. It was resistance in December of last year, resistance in May of this year, resistance in pretty much this month. It had a 2-day resistance at that level. 241 is the strongest resistance I see on Boeing. In terms of support, you'd probably just want to hold above this week's lows from Monday. You do have a little bit of a gap to fill. It did gap up today, so we'll see what happens. This was a failed idea. We were looking at it like this, but it ended up breaking out of this to the downside, and the stop loss did help for a couple of days. Now I think it's probably back around the area that it got stopped out at. So yeah, it's Boeing. Let me take a look at the chat again. Give me 1 second. All right, I haven't looked at the chat in a minute, so yeah, keep hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. I nailed the bottom. The Fed's want me. Yeah, I mean, it's not too hard. It's not too hard. You just got to look at clear support areas, but many people are too busy crying when things are red and just forgetting about stocks, when I try and say time and time again, like I tried to say on March 5th, like I tried to say on May 11th, 2 other bottoms that I didn't call, but I said could be potential reversal areas. I feel like every single time I say, hey, people, the market's at a potential reversal area, at least for the short term. Like, nobody really cares until it happens, and then people are FOMOing in to try and chase the bounce. Like, I try my best. The real ones, like I say, are always showing up and they're getting rewarded. So it's just all about trying to be rational, right? Doesn't matter how bad things are, how bad your emotions are. When you're looking at charts, you got to be unbiased. You got to just sit back and say, okay, what are the levels that I should be looking at? How can I manage my risk off of those levels? Can I make money doing so? At least more than half the time, you probably should be able to. Skyly, thank you for the subscription. So yeah, probably gonna do the final round of ticker requests right now, then I'll get out of here for the night. A little bit of a slower stream. I mean, you know, it was a combination of me going live like half an hour earlier, me not streaming for like 4 or 5 days. I get how it is. It'll take a few days to get back into the swing of things. Appreciate everybody showing up though. So yeah, let me just drop in. We'll look at SoFi again. Solo, we'll take a look. Best. Why did I not type? ROKU, Airbnb, SESN, MESA. We already looked at Tesla before. I think Tesla looks pretty interesting. It just has to stay above the 200-day moving average. So yeah, I'm gonna put a few dashes in the chat. Under that line, no more ticker requests. So we're just gonna finish up what I already put into my watch list. First off, SoFi, we already looked at it earlier. Great day for SoFi, was up 10%, hidden bullish divergence on the daily, bounced off of a historical area back from April and May of this year. Got a little bit extended, but around the PCZ of a bullish bat. And if you're a premium member, this morning I was talking about SoFi, looking at like the 5 or 10 minute chart. I was sharing a pretty interesting day trade setup for SoFi. If you're a premium member, maybe you saw it. But the low time frame technicals around the open on SoFi just looked insanely bullish and had a really big intraday move. So again, another technical indicated bounce that does not surprise me. I was not surprised that SoFi ended up bouncing huge today, and it ended up engulfing like 7 days worth of candles in one day. So SoFi, I'm still bullish on it. Anything above 1475, I'm bullish. Largest volume in like 3 weeks. Hidden bullish divergence looks good to me for right now. Just gotta hold 1475. TIGR, yeah, this could be close to a bullish bat. A little bit high on the C point around it though. Yeah, bullish bat. I think anything above this whole entire area is bullish on TIGR. This $16 to $15 area from January, March, May, and kind of from this month. That's the most important area. Your 200-day moving average is sitting right in that area. Makes sense. You even had a bullish pin bar yesterday. This one looks good to me. There's a gap fill at 25 bucks, $25.18. You have a resistance at 23. I like it. Just got to hold above 15. Not much divergence though. And it was up 9%. So definitely yesterday, maybe off of the bullish pin bar, could have been a better entry signal. But yeah, that's TIGR. TMHC broke out of an upsloping channel, but now triple classic bullish divergence is possible. It did get oversold on the RSI. If we just take this out, now you're probably going to be looking at a downsloping channel. So upsloping channel into a downsloping channel. So I'd probably say your strongest support. Wow. Okay. I did not look at this when I was charting it, but this $23 level, support from November, support from last September, support from last August. Anything else? It was resistance in 2019 July. It was support in 2018. Yeah, 23 is a huge level on this chart historically. Oh my gosh, it was even resistance all the way back in 2014 and 2013. So you just got to hold above 23 on TMHC and you do a bullish divergence. So that looks good. Next one is EDU. This one's been making lower lows and lower highs for a long time. 515 is the strongest support I see, and your resistance is 730, so it's right in between support and resistance. Personally, on this one, it's kind of like trying to catch a falling knife. You could possibly do it, but I would just prefer to wait to see it starting to make higher highs and higher lows before I felt more confident. Because even if it does get a nice bounce, what if it just makes another lower high and then drops back down to 5? So on this one, this is one of the times where even as a reversal trader, I would just be waiting to see when it starts looking like the trend is about to reverse, or it is already reversing. Solo is next. Another harmonic looking structure. Why do all these stocks look the same? Because they're kind of moving together. They have been this whole entire month. Correlation this month is very, very high, especially on mid caps and growth stocks and EVs. Bullish bat on Solo on the daily, hidden bullish divergence. Technicals do look good. You go over to the 4-hour. Classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour. So yeah, Solo from a technical standpoint looks really, really interesting. Next resistance is probably around like 470. After that, you got your 200-day moving average, and then in terms of support, you have a major support at 244. Obviously, you're very far from that, so you probably just want to hold above this week's lows on Solo. Next up is BEST. I mean, hidden bullish divergence is possible, but you gotta like bounce like very, very soon for this to ever confirm. It's even possible on the RSI. You're pretty much almost at the same lows, a slightly higher low currently on the daily for BEST. And yeah, you want to bounce off of this area, otherwise you got no support left. You really want to bounce off of this area, otherwise who knows. I don't really see much apart from that though. Now we got ROKU. It pulled back right at that area we were talking about, like literally on June 30th, we were talking about that. It was like a pattern completion zone of like 2 different bearish harmonics. I think it was overbought, yup, on the RSI. The QQQ was also really overbought then. And then we talked, this was charted. I didn't just chart this like yesterday. This has been charted for like weeks. It came back down to a support level, which used to be a resistance or a high from the middle of April. It bounced off of it. Like, everything is just so technical right now. Oh, it's on my 4-hour chart. Look, went right to the 886. Pretty much a bearish shark, reversed right at it. You know, this is not fortune telling, it's just probability, and the probability played out. You got a reaction there. The stock is still very, very strong. Even on the pullback, it didn't really sell off that much. And now at this point, I mean, yes, it is currently a bearish harmonic playing out, but there could be a bullish argument here now too. You could call this a descending broadening wedge with hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD and on the RSI. So there's a bullish argument now too. You would probably just want to get back above 433 for more continuation. Airbnb bounced off of a previous all-time low. That's really it. You just got to hold above 130. Other than that, maybe a little bit of class B, classic bullish divergence. Not the strongest, but I don't see much of a pattern at all. So that's really all I can do on Airbnb. Now we got SESN. Hidden bullish divergence is developing on the daily. I just like to see it stay above 354. That was a high from February 16th and March 22nd. Definitely also broke a little bit of a downtrend. Looks good to me. Even above 4 is important because you can see this 406 level was support at the end of June, and it even turned into resistance in the beginning of July. So you just want to continue holding above 4. If not, then you want to hold above 354. Next is MESA. There might be timestamps. It depends on if Medi wants to do them or not. MESA, probably a little bit of a falling wedge. There's a lot of different ways you could line this up. So let's see what else we could look for on this one. Pretty close to a bullish bat. It went down to the 2618 from B to D. Got a reaction there, back over the 200-day moving average. On the RSI, you kind of have classic bullish divergence on the daily. On the 4-hour, you do have classic bullish divergence on the MACD. Looks another one again. 2 weeks ago, none of the charts really looked that interesting to me. Now, a lot of charts are at major harmonic PCZs with a bunch of divergence around the 200-day moving average, like very, very similar to around May 11th to the 13th. This is what a lot of things looked like. And of course, we are in a very different fundamental situation now, but we'll see. We'll see how a lot of these things turn out. There are earnings on this in the beginning of August, though. HEXO, final taker of the night. Let me just delete all this. I don't know. Maybe a bullish butterfly. It really got it was too perfect of like a double top on the C point. We want to ignore that though. Still never really got to an actual perfect sequence PCZ. I guess it got within kind of a range. But it did actually bounce off of a gap fill. It filled this gap from January 5th of this year, bounced off of it for 2 days in a row, went up 2% higher today. If it can really hold above this, your next resistance is $5. Psychological resistance, support from February of last year, support from April of this year. So hold above 419, you could test 5. After that, your 200-day moving average at 550. Pretty simple chart right there. But yeah, that'll probably do it for the take request tonight. Future is still green, Bitcoin right at 32K. It's been a crazy week in the market. Glad to be back streaming. Hopefully y'all doing well. And yeah, I might just call it there. I'll be live again tomorrow night at the actual normal time for the streams. So I'll see you all then. If you're not in the Discord, really can't help you. The link's in the description. That's where literally everything is apart from the stream. And if you want to know what's there, join it and find out. All right, that's the easiest way to put it. Is that actually a ticker? The guy, thank you very much for the $3 tip. Can we get some vibes in the chat? Appreciate it. Definitely probably not an actual ticker, and also never gonna look at a second chart. But appreciate the $3 tip. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, we could try and take a look at it. Let's see if we can pull it up. If we just do this sometimes. All right, so look at this. You can see it, it's clown. Oh wait, you want clown to wrapped ether? All right, let's try this out. No way it's real. I was just gonna pull up a blank chart like this and just mess around. Like I was gonna pretty much just do this. I was gonna put in a random ticker and just draw random stuff on the chart for fun. Well, that's actually a ticker. Wow, you were not joking. Okay, I apologize for assuming that it was a fake ticker, but clown to wrapped ether is a chart. Let's do some technicals on this one. Maybe a little bit of a shooting star candle yesterday, a little bit of an inside candle today. Not a big fan of how the volume dropped a lot overnight. So let's go down to the 1 minute time frame. Let's see. I mean, maybe a little bit of a close to like a bullish shark or something. And it is definitely finding support right here at this 0.0000000 level. So if it can bounce off this 0.0000000 level, you might have a gap fill to 0.00, another gap fill at 0.00, another gap fill at 0.00, another gap fill at 0.00, and another one, believe it or not, at 0.00. So a lot of gaps to fill to the upside, major harmonic pattern, volume's really dry, so maybe it just gets a little bit of some volume over here. You might even have some classic bullish divergence playing out on the MACD if you really use a magnifying lens. Yeah, I mean, this one, you probably would get a 3 reward to risk, because if you entered this asset at 0. Wait, I cannot even use the reward to risk tool on this. I guess you cannot get any reward to risk. Yeah, maybe it is a very low risk, because technically if you're paying nothing for it, then you're risking nothing for it. So yeah, definitely KTF, this could be one to keep on your watch list, because look, so I'm gonna go over to the long position tool. If I hit it, it's just, yeah. Oh, maybe you're risking 100%, but what if we look at it like this? Maybe, let me try it. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Let's see. It just disappeared. No, actually, I think you might be risking 100%, because if you'd be buying it, then whenever you would put into it, you wouldn't have any liquidity unless it got all the way up to, okay, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, so I mean, there's two ways to look at it. Either you have infinity reward, or you just lose all the money you put into it. So, not financial advice, but either if you traded this, you could lose all your money, or you could make an infinity amount of money. Something tells me you're probably gonna lose all your money, but I might be wrong because it says infinity. So that's an insane reward to risk. You're pretty much risking infinity to try and gain infinity. Scrooge says, looks like a bullish poop emoji. So there you go. That's your clown to wrapped ether. Thank you for all the support. Thank you again for the tip. The guy. And yeah, everybody have a great night. Good luck trading tomorrow. Probably gonna call it there. I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST. Thank you for coming back to the stream. Glad to see I didn't fall off too hard in about 5 days. So we're gonna be back at it tomorrow. Have a great night. I'll see you in the Discord, and peace out.